Number 1. The syndicates who exploited lottery rolldowns. Imagine a lottery where you could bet with mathematical certainty that you'd walk away with more money than you spent. That is what brilliant exploiters did with the Massachusetts cash windfall from 2005 to 2012. The cash windfall lottery had a unique feature called a rolldown. The jackpot was capped at $2 million. If nobody won the jackpot and it reached that cap, instead of rolling over to the next drawing, all that jackpot money would roll down to the lower prize tiers. Suddenly, matching 5 numbers could win you $10,000 instead of $4,000. The odds of winning these lower prizes didn't change, but the payout amounts did. So a group of MIT students, including biostatistician James Harvey, did the math. During roll-down drawings, if you bought enough tickets, you could create positive expected value. Normally, a lottery ticket has negative expected value. On average, you lose money. But during roll-downs, the increased prize amounts flip this. If you bought, say, $100,000 in tickets during a roll-down, the probability of your prizes totaling more than $100,000 became very high. The students had an algorithm for selecting numbers that spread their coverage across the number space, maximizing their hit rates on lower-tier prizes. They would show up and buy hundreds of thousands of dollars in tickets in the same day. But the lottery officials eventually noticed that multiple syndicates bought tickets in bulk during every roll-down, and technically, it was legal, so they could do nothing about it. They weren't cheating because they were just buying tickets legally and understood probability better than the general public. In response, the state shut down cash windfall in 2012 after Boston Globe investigation finally exposed the syndicates. They couldn't fix the roll-down loophole without fundamentally redesigning the game, so they just banned it entirely. Number 2. The guy who beat Press Your Luck. Michael Larson was an unemployed ice cream truck driver who spent his days watching Press Your Luck. He recorded episodes and watched them over and over in slow motion. Frame by frame, he tracked where the lights went, and he discovered that the board wasn't random. It followed 5 repeating patterns. The lights would cycle through the 5 patterns in the same sequence every single time. The show's producers thought the board moved too fast for anyone to track, but they underestimated someone with time, motivation, and a VCR. Larson spent 6 months studying these patterns, writing down every sequence on pieces of paper. He identified the exact squares that had the best prizes and which ones had whammies. He figured out that 2 specific squares never had whammies and often had the best cash prizes and extra spins. When Larson got on the show, he let the other contestants take their turns while he watched the board, syncing his internal rhythm with the patterns. Then he started hitting perfectly again and again. He'd land on big money and extra spins. The squares that gave him extra spins meant he could keep going indefinitely. The host, Peter Tamarkin, and other contestants sat there watching Larson rack up amounts that seemed impossible. The producers in control stopped the tape multiple times, searching for evidence of cheating, but Larson was just pressing a button at the right time. They had no choice but pay him $110,237, a record that stood for decades. The show responded by rebuilding the entire game board from scratch. The new version used a computerized random number generator with over 32 different patterns that changed unpredictably, and added more whammy squares. Number 3. The Hidden City Ticketing Loophole. In 2013, a guy named Akhtar Zaman figured that airline pricing doesn't follow logic as you would expect. You'd think a longer flight would cost more, but airlines price tickets based on competition, not distance. So Zaman created a website called skiplagging, where the algorithm scanned airline prices and identified these hidden city opportunities. The website showed you exactly which routes to book to save money. Imagine you want to fly from New York to Chicago. A direct ticket costs $400. But on the website, a flight from New York to Los Angeles with a layover in Chicago costs only $200. So travelers book the cheaper ticket, get off during the layover in Chicago, and never board the connection to LA. Airlines noticed their pricing models were being exploited, and United and American Airlines sued Zaman, claiming he was promoting breach of contract. But Zaman wasn't doing anything illegal since he was just pointing out publicly available price differences. Now airlines started going after individual passengers. If you skip lag even once, they would terminate your frequent flyer account immediately. All those miles you've been collecting for years will be gone in an instant. They also changed their policies, that if you check a bag, it automatically goes to your final destination, so you can't skip lag with checked luggage. They'll also ban you from flying with that airline in the future. You'll show up at the airport, try to check in for a flight you booked months ago, and discover your reservation doesn't exist. Number 4. The pudding guy who manufactured spending. Imagine turning $3,000 worth of chocolate pudding into a lifetime of free travel. That's exactly what David Phillips did in 1999. The civil engineer noticed that Healthy Choice Foods was running a promotion where you could earn 500 airline miles for every 10 product barcodes you mailed in. But the promotion didn't specify which Healthy Choice products. And Phillips found that chocolate pudding cups were the cheapest per unit. Phillips did the math. Individual pudding cups were 25 cents each when bought in bulk. That meant 10 barcodes cost $2.50, earning him 500 miles. Breaking it down further, he was buying airline miles at roughly half a cent each when they're normally worth at least 1 to 2 cents. So he went to grocery stores and bought 12,150 pudding cups for about $3,000. But Phillips had another problem. Peeling 12,150 barcodes off pudding cups would take forever. So he donated the pudding cups in exchange for them removing the barcodes and giving them back to him. It was completely legal. The pudding was still perfectly usable food. He was donating it to charity, which also gave him a tax deduction for the full retailer value of the pudding. The charities got food. He got miles and a tax break. He used those miles to fly his family around the world in first class for years. But banks and credit card companies started catching on. They shut down accounts, clawing back points and adding specific restrictions. American Express added language to their terms saying gift cards didn't qualify for rewards points. Banks started reporting people to check systems, a database that tracks suspicious banking activity, making it harder for them to open new accounts elsewhere. Number 5. The lazy take foul. Imagine you're watching an NBA game and the opposing team steals the ball and sprints down the court for an easy breakaway dunk. But before they can finish, a player from the trailing team casually grabs their jersey or wraps them up, forcing the referee to blow the whistle. The fast break stops instantly. The offense gets 2 free throws and the ball back, but the excitement is dead. That's the lazy take foul where teams figured out it was mathematically better to commit a foul than to let the other team score. But here's the math that ruined basketball aesthetics. An uncontested fast break usually results in 2 points, often with a spectacular dunk that energizes the crowd and momentum. But 2 free throws have an expected value of 1.5 points for an average NBA player. So by fouling, you're trading a guaranteed 2 points and momentum for an expected 1.5 points and killing the opponent's energy. Even better, the game stops, giving your team time to set up their defense. Coaches started teaching this as a strategy, optimizing for wins and racking up points. But in 2023, the NBA banned the strategy. Now, if a referee determines a foul in transition is a take foul, meaning it's not a legitimate attempt to play defense, the fouled team gets 1 free throw plus possession of the ball. This means the offense keeps the ball even after the free throw, essentially giving them a free point and maintaining their possession. Number 6. Manufactured spending. Credit cards offer rewards to encourage spending. The idea was you'd use your card for groceries, gas, or bills, and occasionally redeem points for a free flight or hotel night. But some people noticed that the credit card companies didn't distinguish between different types of spending. $1 spent at a gas station earned the same points as $1 spent buying a gift card that could be converted back to cash. That arbitrage opportunity was the crack in the system. The basic cycle worked like this. You buy a $500 Visa gift card at a grocery store with your credit card, earning 2 times points because grocery stores often had bonus categories. Then take that gift card to Walmart or a post office and buy a money order for $499, paying a 70-cent fee. Deposit the money order in your bank, then use that money to pay off the credit card. People scaled this to absurd levels, but banks started fighting back with data analysis. They'd look at transaction patterns and identify anomalies. Chase implemented the 524 rule that if you'd opened 5 or more credit cards in the past 24 months, you were automatically denied any new Chase cards. This specifically targeted churners who were opening cards rapidly. Vanilla Visa gift cards, which were popular for manufactured spending, started blocking transactions at Walmart completely. If you tried to buy a money order with one, it would decline every time. These rules basically meant that the game had been banned. Number 7. The card counters who solved Blackjack. Imagine being denied entry into a casino for being too smart to play Blackjack. In the 1990s, a group of MIT students figured out that blackjack wasn't actually random if you paid attention, so they built a system where spotters who would sit at the tables making minimum bets for hours, counting silently. These spotters looked like tourists losing money slowly, blending in perfectly. When the count got favorable, the spotter would give a signal by scratching their heads for the big players to come. The big player would walk up to the table acting drunk or clueless and start making massive bets. To the security watching on cameras, it looked like random luck, but to the team it was a paycheck. They had investors backing them where during other weekends, they'd fly to Vegas, win $50,000 over 2 days, and fly back to Boston. But after investigation, the security would notice something odd. Multiple people at the same table who never acknowledged each other. They were a group of spotters who did card counting, then signaled big players to come for the cash. Here's the thing. Card counting isn't illegal. It's just using your brain against the system. You're basically thinking really hard about math while playing cards. So casinos built an entire surveillance industry around this problem. They started using facial recognition databases shared between every major casino. If you're flagged as a card counter in one, every casino in Las Vegas knows your face before you even get there.